Alright guys, so I don't know what happened with the Zoom meeting. Like, I was only able to get part of the meeting, so I don't know, maybe because it was a free account or something. So I'm actually doing this video all over again. So anyways, so what we went over earlier today was basically information that you need to know leading up to the exam. So it's very important that if you're taking the exam, that you go through this video and make sure that you know the steps before you take the exam. So the first thing you want to do is, and this Google Docs is already up in Google Classroom, but the first thing you want to do is go to myap.collegeboard.org/login to verify that you're actually taking the exam. So this is the website you should be at. And again, you don't want to log in the day of the exam. You want to do this today or at some point this week, because your AP exams, they start next Monday. All right. So another thing to note is that 2 days prior to the start of your exam, you're going to get an email regarding your testing ticket. Now, this testing ticket is not transferable. All right. You can't give it to anybody else, so please don't. All right. And if you don't get in your email, make sure you log into your MyAP account and check it. And 30 minutes prior to your exam, which in this case for AP Statistics is going to be Friday, May 22nd at 2 p.m. So you want to log in at 1:30 p.m. just for security purposes. All right. So you're going to get a testing ticket, and you should get like a link towards your test on the exam day. All right. So one of the, I guess, common sense things you should do is tell your family that you're going to be testing during this time. Isolate yourself from all distractions. All right. Silence your phone, or better yet, keep it in another room. Don't even keep your phone near you, because even though I'm sure you could take the exam on your phone, it's highly recommended that you do not take the exam on your phone. Right. So if you have low bandwidth or whatnot, make sure you tell your family members, like, hey, for this next hour, I'm going to need you to stop watching stuff on Netflix. All right. You're going to have to go take a walk or something. Take the dog or the cat out for a walk if cats walk. All right. And if you don't wish to take the AP exam, you could simply ignore the ticket and you'll be refunded at some point later on. All right. Now, here's the thing. There is a retake. Oh, okay, I shouldn't say retake, but a makeup exam on Thursday, June 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is basically reserved for students who might have technical difficulties or scheduling conflicts like a doctor's appointment, or you might fall ill during the testing day. All right. So you don't need to log in during the May testing date if this applies to you. Just simply ignore it. And then 2 days prior to the June testing date, you'll get another testing ticket. All right. So the AP exam is going to be 50 minutes long. This does not include the 30 minutes you're going to need prior to exam. This doesn't include the 30 minutes that you're going to need to log in prior to the exam for a security check-in. All right. So the first question is 25 minutes, and then you'll have 5 minutes to submit. The second question is 15 minutes, and then you have 5 minutes to submit. So try to keep that in mind. I don't know if they're going to switch, the question duration time order, so you might get the 15-minute question first, or you might get the 25-minute question first. I'm not sure, but essentially your AP exam is going to be 50 minutes. All right, so keep that in mind. So you can keep tabs open during the exam. All right, so make sure you're doing this on a laptop or a desktop where you have a pretty sizable screen. So that's why you don't want to be doing this on the exam. You don't want to be doing this exam on your smartphone or whatnot. You can keep a textbook open. That's going to be perfectly fine. All right, so you want to make sure you have your notes, you have your tabs out ready before the start of the exam. You don't want to do any searches during the exam. All right. And this link right here This is basically for you to kind of test and see, how the exam is going to look like during the exam day. So here, let me close this off. And AP exam demo. So you don't have to put in your actual AP exam or AP ID. You just make up some number. I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get started. And then birth date. So again, this is stuff you probably have already done before. Whoops. I guess they don't let you copy and paste. And you're going to notice that at the bottom right here, right, there's kind of like a countdown timer as to when your exam is going to start. All right. So once you filled in the appropriate personal information, you're going to click continue. All right. And then you're going to see the screen right here. All right. It's going to give you some guidelines as to how to attach your work, either through a Word document or, and I think somebody was asking this earlier, how do you attach it? And you're going to notice up top here at the top of the paper, you're going to notice that this is the testing ID or the AP ID. I'm not exactly sure, but it doesn't hurt to attach both the AP ID and the testing ID. And then these initials are the student's name. So you definitely want to include your name on the paper. And right here is also a good idea to include the page number as well. So if you submitted your paper, out of order or whatnot, the AP grader will know which paper to look at next. Now, what I was told was that they're going to allow up to 5 sheets submitted. Now, your AP problems won't take 5 sheets, but they're going to allow you to submit up to 5 sheets of paper. And they were mentioning how you don't need to draw any graphs or attach any graphs. They're not requiring you to attach any graphs. Although it wouldn't hurt, if you guys remember, we drew the normal probability plots, it would not hurt to include, graphs, but they are not required. Right, so keep that in mind. So, again, I'm going to return to this page once this timer is over because I can't go ahead until this timer ticks down to 0. So and I'll click yes, click no. Okay, so here's a couple of things to kind of keep in mind. The College Board didn't disclose how they're going to determine if a student has cheated. They didn't tell us teachers because they probably didn't want us teachers to accidentally spill the secrets or spill the tea, so to speak. All right, so again, try to keep that in mind, what I mentioned, in the Zoom meeting. You don't want to be on any social media whatsoever. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, FaceTime, Snapchat, things like that, you do not want to be on. All right. So just try to keep that in mind. If they catch or if they feel like a student has committed academic dishonesty, I will be contacted, and I don't know what administrative process is going to take place, but I'm not expecting anybody to cheat. But if that happens, I will be contacted. So I wanted to let you guys know in advance. Right. So another point to kind of point out, so to speak, is you do not need to get a 5, or you don't need to complete a problem to get a 5. Right. But you need to make sure that you submit your work. So again, there are 2 questions, 2 free response questions, no multiple choice. Right, so don't feel flustered, don't feel rushed to finish a problem. Just make sure that you submit your work. And I don't know what's going to constitute a 5 because obviously I haven't seen the problem yet. But if you didn't finish the problem, just realize that you could still get a 5 on the exam. Right, now obviously if you only did 1/4 of the problem, I wouldn't expect to get a 5. But just keep in mind, you don't need to complete a problem to get a 5. All right. Now, as I mentioned earlier, when you're submitting your work, handwritten or electronic, make sure your name, your testing ID, and your AP ID is on the paper. and also include the page number. All right, if you're doing it on a handwritten sheet of paper. All right, if you don't submit your response before the timer runs out, it will not count. So try to keep that timer in mind. You need to submit it in time. And let's say you get a score of 1 or 2. So you can request that I review your exam to potentially maybe get a higher score. So details about this will be revealed later in July. So I don't know the process behind it, but this is a possibility. So from what I gathered, if you get a 3, 4, or 5, there won't be an opportunity for a review. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, so again, if there's any questions, please let me know, all right, through email, or you can even put it up on the discussion board. All right, thanks.